This is the first class, and we are just starting now. Pay attention, get a book and a Bible now. If you have your system, open it up now. So firstly, this course particularly is for back-end web development. Back-end web development. So, but we have front-end also here because this is an introductory class. Firstly, before you start your development journey, you have to first know what you want to build, what people are building as a web developer. What are they actually building? From there, you will now know, after you understand what people are actually building as a developer, then you say, okay, that's what are the, how do I join them? And that is what we are going to do today. Once you join the class, off your microphone so you don't distract us in the class. So as a developer, what you are building as a web developer, what you are building is web. You are developing on the web, and it's any software that's run on the web. They are built, they are developed by web developers. So you are developing for the web as a web developer. So now we have so many parts, but we're going to get to that part to explain those parts we have in web development. Firstly, the web itself. What is the web? Here on the screen we have the web, short for World Wide Web, which is WWW or W3. Is a system of interconnected documents and resources that are accessed over the internet using web browsers. So that is the basic definition of web, or WWW. You can call it W3. So the web, short for World Wide Web, is a system of interconnected documents and resources that are accessed over the internet using web browser. So you see it have how many parts? The first part is documents and resources. Then the second part is the internet. The third part is the web browser. So the first part is the documents and the resources or the information people access over the web, which can be your website, your software, the one you built by yourself. Then you want people to access it. And all these are done over the internet using web browsers. So, and then, since you see, we have three parts when you talk about the web. The first one is documents and resources people share over the internet, and then they access those information using web browsers, which will tell you before you can have anything like a website or a resources people can see, you need to come up with a document or a resources you want to share online. And after you come up, and that document is now can be your website, which is what we are going to learn, how to build a website. As a developer, as a backend developer, you know how to handle the backend part of a website. And if you are going for front end, then every resources people can see, including this Zoom app, this is the front end, the one you are looking at. So here we have the web. That is why once they call you a web developer, you know we have front end, we have back end, we have full stack, and web developer, front end web developer. So when you talk about web now, this is the web. You first of all understand you are a web developer. You are developing for the web. And what is the web? Web. You can call it W3. W3 or WWW is a system of interconnected documents and resources that are accessed over the internet using web browser. So these two lines describe everything you need to know about web. Firstly, it has three parts. One, a system of interconnected documents. So those documents are the number one, and the internet is number two. where you can be able to access those documents and resources. And then the last part is the web browser, which is where the user, the client, we call them the client, where they can be able to view those resources you present to them over the internet. So those are the three parts that make up the web, and what a web needs to be a web. Now coming to the invention, it is invented by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. So not so far, 1989, but in 1991 is when people started making use of web, when it's public for everyone in the 1991. Let's first of all read it again. It was invented by Sir Tim Berners-Lee in 1989 while he was working on CERN, European Organization for Nuclear Research, and has since become fundamental part of modern life. The web allows users to access and share information, communicate, conduct business, and much more. It consists of billions of web pages hosted on servers around the world, linked together by hyperlinks, and accessible via URLs, Uniform Resource Locators. The web was disclosed to the public in 1991. This transfer and specification are made possible by hypertext transfer. Patrick, you can off your microphone. I don't want to be. Please off your microphone. Let's continue with the class. Please. This transfer and specification are made possible by the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. This is the foundation of the World Wide Web and is used to load web page using hypertext link, HTTP. It is an application layer. It's an application layer protocol designed to transfer information between networked devices and run on top of other layers of the network. So this is for the web and the invention. You now know that the web is documents, resources people access over the internet using web browser. So Google Chrome is an example of a web browser, Edge, Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, and the rest. So they are all web browser. You call them clients. All web browsers are called clients in web development. So that is where the user view your website. Any type of website you build, the user will view them from the browser, and they are called clients. So when we get to Python, you see, when we are trying to access a browser, you call them clients while accessing them. So now, the internet itself. The internet, we have two: HTTP secured and HTTPS. HTTP, which is the not unsecured one, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and then the HTTPS, which is the secured one. Mostly every website we view now have the secured part, which is the HTTPS. We'll also see how to install them in the browser if you have more time after the training. So now the web, over the years, the web have evolved from when they developed the web, when Tim Berners-Lee invented the web. Then you remember when we use all these small Zedge phone, button phone. So those are still the web, the first version of the web. Those are the first version of the web. Mostly you can't contribute, you can't socialize the way we do now. What you do is just be scrolling on static page. We call them the era of static page. That's the era of static page. People just, what you see is just web page. You can be able to view, scroll, no design at all. To then come, okay, I think I have a slide for that. Let's be sharing this slide. Okay, here is it. The first version of the web, the read-only version of the web. And then the second one, we socialize, and that is the one we are in now. We're almost going out of the web 2. We are going into web 3, which is mostly write, execute, read. And all this AI you are looking at, they are also included in the third version of the web. And we are also in a mixture of version 2 and version 3 now in the web. And then a browser, a computer program that is with a graphical user interface for displaying and navigating web pages. A browser is an application program that provides a way to look at and interact with all the information on the web, on the World Wide Web. This includes web pages, video, and images. The word browser originated prior to the web as a generic term for user interface that lets you browse, navigate through, and read text file. And that is for internet and browser. So now over to what we are. Okay, now what is web development, which is your main interest now, the web development. And as a web developer, you are expected to be able to build something that will run on the web. On those browsers, on the web, you are supposed to be able to build something that will run on the web. A website is software, but it will run on the web. That is what we are called web developer. Front-end web developer, back-end web developer. There are people who develop for the web. So here we have a definition of web development. Web development in full form, website development, is the process of creating, building, and maintaining websites and web applications that run on a browser. That runs on a browser. I think I made a mistake. That runs on a browser. It may, however, include website ideas, web design, web programming, and database management. This web app can range from simple static pages to dynamic web application. Web developers use a combination of coding languages, frameworks, and tools to bring their vision and those ideas to life. So that is the work of a web developer, to use framework and coding languages to bring a particular vision or idea to life through website development. Good. Now let's see another part. So now the tools and framework, program and programming language used for web development. So to be able to build a web app, an application that run on the web, maybe a website, there are some languages and framework you need to put together to be able to get those websites online and running. And this is here, first of all, HTML, which is called the hypertext markup language. And this is what we call the skeleton of a website. It deals with the structure of that website. The skeleton, you can't see them. It's comprised of tags, like a sandwich. It have an opening tag, and then your contents inside of it, and the closing tag. Okay, what is the meaning of framework? Alright, I'm coming, please. The video will be available. Wait, let me read some comments. I'm coming back to the let's get to framework first before I explain about framework. So firstly, as a web developer, if we are venturing into front end, you handle front end development of a website. If you are venturing into back end, then you handle the back end part of the website. So, but we have what we call full stack web developer. Those are people who venture into both the front end and back end, so they can build an application for front end, from front end to back end. And if they have more vast knowledge, they can be able to handle websites hosting and maintenance. So now, secondly, CSS. So what we'll be taking for people in front end is HTML. No longer, HTML have the first version, which is the HTML. So, but going now, we have HTML5, which is the newest version of HTML5. And that is what we'll be teaching you, HTML5. And then CSS3, the newest version of CSS. So now the second one is CSS, cascading style sheets for styling your web pages. Those one deal with styles and beauty of your website. Okay, I know. So CSS, those one deal with the styling, the beauty, the colors, those padding, those wonderful, some animation. You can do some video animation with your CSS. I will share a screen of our website with you, so you see exactly what I'm saying. But let's finish up with this one. So now, this third one is JavaScript. JavaScript to make your web app interactive and responsive. JavaScript handle many things, not just interactiveness and responsiveness of your website, but also it helps you communicate with the backend from the front end. So that's the more like the, let me say, the most frequent way of communicating from the front end to the back end is through JavaScript. If you are making use of asynchronous, what we call asynchronous development, something like you want multiple things to be happening at the same time. So maybe someone is clicking on a button and you are showing them another thing again, and you are also updating their profile at the same time. You can achieve that with JavaScript. You can send message to your backend, retrieve the information with JavaScript without even refreshing the page. Because before you do something like that, you have to refresh the whole page. Or when someone is trying to submit something, before you can process it, sometimes, then you need to refresh the whole page before you process that information the person is trying to send to your backend. But with the help of JavaScript and Ajax, you can be able to send something to the database without refreshing the whole web page. So that is for database. And these three, you can call the three of them the web: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We call them the web because those three software, they don't even need a program to run. What they need is the browser. Anywhere you see a browser, you can run HTML and see. If we are teaching only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript now, if we choose not to install anything, nothing will happen. We can be able to run those three things on our browser, and you will see the outcome and the results from your browser. So, but then when you talk about backend, but if you make use of the three of them, what you will end up building is what we call static websites. So for that, you need a backend and you need a database for your website. And there come a programming language. So programming language is just a language, a computer program that you use to run your backend. Not only your backend, it's just a programming language the way the name is. You use it to program, to code something that your system can understand. or your software can understand what you are trying to do. So we have many programming language, and as a programmer, as a backend developer, you need the knowledge of at least one programming language before you can pose as a backend developer. And if you are posing as a full stack web developer, you need the knowledge of all front-end language and one back-end language before you can push yourself as a full stack web developer. So we have Python, we have PHP, we have Ruby, we have Rust, we have C#, we have C++, we have Rust, we have Perl, we have Golang, we have Kotlin, we have Java, we have many programming languages. We have R. So, but you need just one. And one good thing about it, if you master one programming language, it will be easier for you to switch to any other programming language. So, but Python is readable, easy to understand more than other programming languages, except for Ruby, which is also easy to read and understand, just like Python. But some languages like C, C#, Java, those ones are a little bit hard to understand. And before them, we have assembly programming language, we have binary code, we have punch card, and all that. But those ones we have evolved to now we are in high level. What we call all these languages like Python and Ruby, they are called high level programming languages. So it's more easy to understand them than other programming language of before. So now below we have a framework. We need a framework. So framework are basically a set of software. You can say a set of software, not just for web development, because I think we have another broad definition of framework. It will help make our development easier, depending on the program you are talking about. When you talk about Django here, like I have Django here, Django is a Python framework. What it does is it handles web development for you, so you don't have to start coding Python to do everything, like database connection. Now Django handles database connection. So what Django needs is just a little Python code, then it can be able to store something in your database with their default configuration, and you can customize those configurations yourself. It have URL routing, which allow you to map URL to a page and to your backend code for processing. It handles most of the thing connecting with your server. Django handle all that for you using Python. Then you can be writing your Python code to do exactly what you want them to do without having to configure Python to do it from scratch. That's the work of Django. Then for people using PHP, Laravel is the framework that does almost what Django do for people using PHP as their backend language. Then Ruby on Rails is a backend for Ruby programming language. It do almost what Django do for Python. Then we have jQuery. jQuery is a JavaScript library. The JavaScript library, it will make your JavaScript development more easier and handy if you choose to. But I know jQuery, but I don't make use of jQuery most of the time, if not all of the time. The jQuery, if you want to do mostly animation is always good in jQuery because they have handled most of the things for you. You have to just say one thing, one line of code, and you have so many things accomplished. And then Bootstrap is CSS framework. You use it for design. Like I told you that CSS is for styling and designing and beautifulness of your web page. And it will have many frameworks. Then another one we have here is API for integrating websites with other programs or software. We call that API, Application Programming Interface, API. Write it down. Application Programming Interface. That is the full meaning of API. So here we have for integrating your website with other program software. So as the name describes here. Vincent, I think you have been here before. I told you off your microphone so we don't have to switch from one thing to another. Don't switch on your microphone, please. Then those API, what you do in your framework and your website is this. It allow you to give out your code for your website storage or any information you have on your website for other people to make use of, or allow you to use other people's resources to power your website. For example, Google Map. You see many applications, they use the Google Map in their websites. From there, you can track people location from someone's website. Maybe someone wants to build a website that track people's location. You can use the Google Map API and handle those locations. Then, if you are trying to make if you want to integrate payments to your website, so people can be able to add their card, they make payments. You don't have to build a web app that will handle payments. You have to even register for it, do so many things, register for the CBN and all that. Then you start building it, maybe years before you build that. But people like Paystack, Flutterwave, and maybe Stripe, Payoneer, PayPal, they already have those apps. What you do, you sign up with them, you get their API, you use their API to receive payments on your website. You see that? That is the work of API. Or you can have your information, everything on your website. You have them on your website, and people can say, okay, maybe you are trying to calculate how many people that give birth in Nigeria in a day, in a month. Then for some, and you have the resources to do that. Now you have many people working under you. You can then install those things in your database, and you can tell people, see, I have the information of the number of deaths, the death rate in Nigeria, how it occurred, the state it occurred, when it occurred, and all that. You tell them you have those information. People can now come and buy it from you using your API. People can integrate that in their own website, and they will display the number of people, the death rate in Nigeria from your API now on their own website. So that is the work of API. Then the other one is Git, which is version control system, VCS. You call it VCS, version control system. You use that to track back, like versioning your app. Now, maybe we are building a website. We build the first part of our website is not so beautiful, but we are managing it. We call that the first version of our website. And then we now become a more powerful developer. Now we build another wonderful one that look like our website, the first one, but now with added improvements. We can now say, okay, this is the second version of our website. So how do we track those versions? That is the work of Git. From Git now, if we move to first version, to second version, third version, fourth version, fifth version, now we have a problem along the line. We can easily move back to even the first version using Git, or we can move to the nearest version using Git as well. So that is why we call it the version control. And we have GitHub, where you host the Git repository, and you can access it and allow other people work with your application, including with Git. Now, multiple people can work on a particular project using Git and GitHub. You can collaborate with other ones. We call it here Git for version control and code safety, because store those codes for you, and also for quick collaboration with other programmers. So that is for Git and version control. Then SQL for database. So SQL is the short form for structured query language. Structured query language. So those are the code language that read database. You use them to store something in table column in your database, then you retrieve those information back. They are not like other programming. You write them through create table, delete table, and all that. So that is SQL. And for selecting a database management system, because you don't have to start using the raw data SQL database code. You need a database management system, DMS. DBMS. That's what we call database management system. So you need a database management system to work with SQL, to have a database for your website. So we have the like of Postgres SQL, MySQL, Oracle DB, MariaDB, and the rest of them. We have many of them. So, but we are going to make use of Postgres SQL. And then the last one, a web server or cloud computing platform like Nginx, Apache House, Azure, Google Cloud, Open Lightspeed, etc. So you need where to host your website. If you build your wonderful website, you want to change the world, make the world a better place with your website, and you are building it's only your family member that will be seeing your website. And you don't want that. After building your wonderful website, you don't want only your family member or only you to be accessing those websites. Now you need a server where you can host it. We call it production. Then your website is now in production level. So, but if you are still developing, you say it's in the development level. Once it's up and running, we can say it's now in production. To make it come up in production, you need a cloud provider where you can buy server. We have managed and unmanaged hosting. If you have the knowledge to get hosting scale, so you can be able to host your own websites on your own, that is very wonderful. You can even make money only as a hosting, as a website, as we call it, and say a cloud computing, a cloud manager, something like that. You can be managing people's software on the cloud. You can host websites for them. You can install database for them, software on their server as well. So cloud computing. And that is how you host your website. You buy a server. If you are using VPS hosting, because that is exactly what you're going to be using, because this is a hard-coded website. That is what will be building. You code it from scratch. You need to have full control over it. And since you have full control over it, nobody from anywhere around the globe will be able to take down your server except you give them the access. The only way they will try to do that is maybe through what we call brute force attack. Those brute force attack and the attack for trying to permutate a particular password on your server, maybe, or from your admin panel, maybe. So the person will place a brute force attack on that particular place you used to add your password to be able to access your server. They can be trying multiple permutations to be able to gain access to your server. So, but some mechanism have been in place that will always mitigate. When you try multiple times to access a server, the server will drop. It will say maybe this is a brute force attack. It will drop the connection. So you won't be able to penetrate it again. You will start again from square one, which will even decrease your accuracy as an attacker. We have DDoS, denial of service. Maybe by moving multiple traffic to your website, trying to pull it down, so people will not be able to access your website again because it's overloaded. It's multiple requests. Then it will weigh the server down, because we have server, unlike a system now, we have system of 2 gig RAM. We also have server of 1 gig RAM, 2 gig RAM, 3 gig RAM, 4 gig RAM, 5 gig RAM, upwards. You have what we call dedicated server. You can buy that one and they will dedicate that portion of server for you forever, as long as you keep paying and renewing for it. So, but the higher the gigabytes and the computing power of your server, the higher the speed of your website, the higher the discovery when it comes to SEO, search engine optimization, the higher the speed and everything of the website. So first of all, you have to evaluate what type of website am I building. Does this website require more calculation, or does it require more storage? If you are doing the one people will upload their profile, upload video, upload everything, then you can think of more gig for your server. So when people are uploading, you don't know the number of things they will be uploading a day. So you have to get in terabytes for them, for your server. So if you are working in computing power, then you will talk about the CPU of your website and so many other things you can consider when picking a server for your website. But all that are after development before you think of server and hosting. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so now we have type of web development definition. So we have front-end development. Front-end website development, also referred to as client-side development, refers to the process of creating the visual and interactive elements of a website or web application. This is where your user sees and directly interacts with your web app. That is front-end. Then back-end. Back-end web development refers to the building, the server side, or the backdoor program of the web application. This is where the main logic, authorization, authentication, and transactions occur. The functionality and logic behind these skins of a website or web application happen mostly in the back end of a web app. So basically, that is where almost everything you can think of, the logic of a web app, that is where it happens, including the API I told you. That is where it happened, because you see, one thing about the front end is this: you can inspect a web page and you see what in the. I will inspect it now, and after this definition, you will see what I mean by inspecting a web page. You can inspect a web page and you see all the code the person used to build that web page. So, but for backend, you can't inspect backend. You can't know anything about it. You can't see a single code used in the backend from the front end or anywhere at all, except you hack through the website, which is almost impossible, because nothing is impossible. But it's almost impossible to hack a website that you developed, except you don't know what you are doing or you share your password with other people. But as a developer, no one will be able to access or take down your website you develop, mostly now using Python, because Python is one of the software we use to take down websites. And that is why Python have upper hand when it comes to development. Python, you use it mostly for hacking. You use it for AI automation, machine learning. You know what is machine learning? You use Python for machine learning, for data analysis, for many things, computation, big data. So we use Python to do so many things. And now web development. So any Python take care of security. Python, as a Python developer, must be keen to security, and that is what Python take care of most. Security and usability. Easy to read code. Python code is more easier to read. It's very easy to read Python code compared to other programming languages. But backend code, well, it's actually hard. So you know what you are coming into, but nothing is impossible. And then now you can ask yourself a question. Now, even the programming language you use in developing websites, someone coded those apps. What if you came to learn web development when they are using assembly programming language, or when they are using binary data, or when they are using punch cards, those era of low-level programming language? Now, Python is a high-level programming language. So what about low-level programming language? So it's more easier to learn. And when you are learning it, you put in the work, develop that desire to learn, and it's creative. That is one thing I love about it, and that is why I'm even a web developer. Creativity. I love creativity. So sometimes you in the midnight while developing, you find yourself laughing or clapping for yourself because you achieve something or you develop something. You can spend the day trying to or figure out how to do something with your code. So you can still learn it, no matter what, no matter who you are. The only thing that will stop you from learning it is yourself. Nobody will stop you from learning backend or front-end or whatever. You are the only one that will stop yourself or ignite your passion to learning it. Once you have the desire, you put in the work. And you must be good in reading as well. You must be good in reading, watching tutorial video, not scrolling through TikTok or WhatsApp or social media. You dedicate time for learning more than you do every other thing. That is how you learn. So now, full stack development. Full stack web development is the process of building or crafting both the front end and the backend components of a website or web application. It can range from working on the user interface UI, server-side logic, database administration, and other aspects of the software development process. So that is full stack. If you are a full stack web developer, you have the knowledge of front end, you have the knowledge of backend and database management. Additionally, the UI, which is the user interface. As a full stack web developer, you have a little knowledge of UI UX, not even a little knowledge, a very broad knowledge, because any website you are building, you will also look at it and make sure this website is user friendly and is interactive as well. And that is the work of a UI UX designer, to make sure something is interactive and user friendly, and people can navigate it with ease, and also it resonates with design principles. So you don't have to pour multiple color on your web page, and someone will be looking at it with a spec before they will understand or catch what you are trying to show them. So you have to know how to get the logic of building a very user-friendly website as well, and that is part of full stack web development. And we should know today is more of theory. It's more of theory. So, but not just theory. So now let me show you what I said by someone. Okay, someone asked a question, what is machine learning? Before I forgot. Machine learning, what's the best definition? Okay, you teach where a machine learns something, like you can build a program that will learn how to do something. That is machine learning. If you make use of something like all this new chat GPT, and I don't know if it's Lemma on WhatsApp or Gemini in Google. So they basically use artificial intelligence combined with machine learning. What machine learning do is this: it's learn a particular stuff over the days, over the years, then it improves itself. You develop a program that will learn on its own and improve itself. That is even how AI came into through machine learning. So you can look at a program that will be test running itself. Like you tell it to dictate people's face now. And okay, let me use another example, which is you tell it to dictate the type of animal now. You can feed that machine learning with cats. And you tell them to recognize cats. Whenever they see cats, they will recognize that this is a cat. You will now feed them with the code. You code them to feed them with information. And from that information you are feeding them with, they will be learning on their own. Those machines now will be learning. If they predict and fail it, they will learn from that failure. And the next time they will improve themselves. No longer from you again, but from themselves. So those machines, that's why when we are working with model now, we want to build, because we are not into that now in this backend development. If you are working with what we call model, those model is what you feed with information. And then if you can be building something that will dictate that someone is not wearing clothes, someone is naked now, like Facebook now. If you post a nude picture on Facebook now, they will take it down. Why? They have a machine that's already learned how to dictate that someone is naked when they see them. So once you upload that picture, it will go through that machine that is fed with information on people who are naked. And once it go through that machine, it will dictate that this is a nude picture, and it will take it down and stick a red mark on your profile instantly. So that is the work of machine learning. You can do so many things: face detection, even distance as well, so many things, calculation as well. So they can solve maths, and from their faults and flaws, they will now learn from it, and next time they will improve. So that is machine learning. Yes, artificial intelligence, which is AI, and machine learning. Already they have a bunch of framework like TensorFlow, Matplotlib, PyTorch, and the rest of them. Those are PyTorch and the rest of those are framework you use to develop machine learning or artificial intelligence, and the algorithm and structure. Well, that time I mentioned model. Those models are what you feed information. You feed those models, and those models will now work with that algorithm and your own code. Good information about the software, or to show exactly what you need. All answer will come through the comment section. Don't unmute your microphone. Write down the okay, someone is asking about API issue. One other thing you can be doing is this. the definition, the video will be available. The video for this class will be available. The video for the class will be available. So you go back again, and you must be a good searcher. Or like Python now, it have an official documentation website where you see everything you need to know about Python, but you will not understand anything there if you go there now, because you are still a novice. You will not, or you may not understand anything. So, but once you search for a particular topic like API now, they can give you maybe a simple definition or not that broad definition. So, but from there you can grab the knowledge. So, but API, application programming interface, is a way you communicate with other applications, or you allow other applications to communicate with your own program. That is API. So you can drop those data. They are formed like JSON. We have what we call JSON and XML. That is the way you present those data to people. The way we have students here in our class, if we choose to show those students to other people, maybe we have another company that wants to check the number of students we have here. We can share our API to them. They can go straight to our database, and they will not be communicating with me again or any of our staff. They will go through our API. Once we give them the access, they will check students' name, students' email, students' whatever. The ones we show them, if we remove some of them from them, they will see just the one we should want them to see. And if you are requesting for API from other people as well, they will show you the ones you want them to. They want to show you as well. So that is the work of API. It allows you to communicate with other websites and web server, and then allow other applications to communicate with your own application. People who build a website that doesn't have information on their own. What it does is it go to other people's API, extracts information and display it on their own website. And it doesn't have it can have a database for tracking purpose, but every other information it displayed there will be from other applications. That is the work of API. So here we have some qualities of a programmer. Qualities a programmer should have. A professional programmer will have many required skills and qualities when it comes to building computer programs. We may not list the qualities but here are some of the qualities a programmer should have. Writing simple, clean and efficient code. When we say clean and efficient code, in Python here we call it dry principle. DRI, dry principle. What we call dry principle is don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. That is what we call dry principle. So then we have another one, which is wet, W-E-T. We enjoy typing, which is the opposite of dry principle. So Python basically implements the dry principle, which is don't repeat yourself. You can write a block of code that will do millions of work in your program. You can have a simple function that will do many problems, solve many things. The only thing you need to do, you call that function, you give it a job, and it have the job done for you. So, but if you are following the wet principle, you can write a program, and then when you want to do another, you write another program. You can have 10,000 lines of code in your Python code, and they are doing always the same thing, and it's wrong. So if you have 1,000 lines of code in your program, and make sure all of them have a unique work they are doing, not related to the next one, not related to the upcoming one. So that is writing simple, clean, and efficient code, and don't make it buggy. So what we call bug is error in code. So ability of solving critical problems, that is one of the key quality of a programmer. So because they will come to a point, especially for self-taught programmer. So, but you have upper hand now. You can easily say, I'm doing this one, even the simplest something. So that will get the teachers laughing at you or smiling. You can even say, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to install Python. That is not even a problem. So there are some problems you will encounter, and it will give you sleepless nights for some days. It happened to me years back, I think in 2017 or 2018, when my website was down, and that particular website is getting up to 10,000 users every day, and I'm making money from the website, and the website was down because I'm trying to update something on the server. I don't know much about server then. I only enjoy my Python and Django code, and I handle the front end. And then I have a server error from Nginx, and I'm using Ubuntu as the operating system. I did not sleep for that whole night, and the next day I was working. I don't even know there's something like food until I know that I'm draining myself. That is when I went out to eat. And as I'm eating, I'm thinking about that code. And I will just open my browser and the website is still down. Like, I wish something magical will happen now and this website will come back to life. But nothing until I have to figure it out. The second day, I have to figure that out. That is how I get my website up and running again. So that is the ability of solving critical problems. So you don't have some people drop out from programming, mostly backend. Some people drop out from programming because of one error they encountered, because the hardest one is self-taught programmers. Self-taught programmers are people who teach themselves how to code. You can be reading resources online, doing every other thing on your own. You call it self-taught programmer. So those people, if you are a self-taught programmer, you will encounter so many things. Because you have encountered so many problems, so many flaws, so many errors. So, but now you are in a class, so you have someone who can actually teach you to code. It won't be that hard for you, because you will always run up and say, I'm trying to write this one, it's not working, and you have your answer. I'm trying to do this one, it doesn't work, and you have the answer. During the class also, you will ask question and you have the answer. So for self-taught, you can be researching for the answer. Sometimes where you can spend days before you get one answer for your problem. You have the ability of solving critical testing application. You can be testing your application very vast in reasoning. So you can reason very fast and fast. So you'll be able to figure out exactly the problem you are encountering in your software, in your application. So someone can say, okay, once you have this type of error, your mind will go to, okay, I think this must be from our database. Threats to the database, and boom, where the error is coming from. Or you can say, I think this error is from my Python code, it is from this particular file, and then you move straight to that place, and boom, that is where the error is coming from. That is fast reasoning and the ability to fix bugs. And that is the error. We call error bugs. So you can be able to fix those errors. You are fixing those. Once you have any error in your code, you say you have a bug in your code. Good communication skill is very effective when working with team, and when you're seeking for employment. You have the communication and listening skill, the ability to work well with a team. Patience and perseverance. Yes, you must be patient. You must be patient, because sometimes a particular code you can spend a whole day discovering, thinking, planning on how to do something. Yes, self-taught programmer. They are very good. Like I'm a self-taught programmer, I don't have a teacher now. They are always, because you encounter many errors in your journey, but it will take you years. It will take you years to master web development if you are a self-taught programmer. And you must be very good in learning, very little bit intelligent before you can be a self-taught programmer. So then, very focused and determined. You must be focused and determined, not just for programming or for anything you are doing. If you are not focused, if you are not determined, there are high chances that you may not achieve that. Any skill at all, even if it's farming, even if it's carpentry work, anyone, if you are not determined, if you are not focused, you may not achieve that. Even in studies, in school, you need to be determined. And programming is not an exception. Not giving up so easily, very important. You have to be lingering. So that is it for the quality of the programmer. So now let me show you something. I said I'm going to show you how you inspect a web page. Okay, can you see this place?
Yes.
All right. So this is our website, not the multi-line. Okay, see, this is my website. So if you go to click on this website now, wait, let me share the whole screen so you can see. You can see the website now, I think. Can you see the website?
Yes.
All right. So here is the website, the WixHub website. So looking at this website now, you will see we have some colors, which is our brand color, and then we have some there, some in a different color, some in black. So those are the work of CSS. And all these hover effects, when you hover this one, you change, and you hover this one. These are all the CSS, which is the front end aspect of it. And the boxes doing some kind of beeping, zooming in and zooming out, that is the work of CSS. And then if you go down, you see, if you go down now, it detects that you are going down, then this particular box is open up for you. Like if you go down now, it's close up, it's open up, and that is the work of JavaScript. And then you move. And then if you say, okay, I want to get a free quote here. Maybe you click on this free quotes like this. You click on this one, you go here, you look at all this form here. Now, if I select a form now, I choose a country. You see it automatically places the country code here. That is the work of JavaScript. So let me select Nigeria. This is Nigeria. So you see it automatically places our country code here, and then you place your cursor here. That is work of JavaScript. And then we go down here, and I click here. You see it said no. I need to add all the fields before it will allow me to pass through. We call it form validation. Form validation from your front end. So you make sure no empty form cross through your front end, except maybe the person is a programmer. Somehow he managed to pass through the front end, but the back end will still hold them because they have empty information to offer. So you won't submit that to your database. If I click it, no matter the number of time I click it, to go back, and it's okay. It's even move me up, so I can start from the very beginning to input those things. So those are the work of JavaScript. So, and then it also dictates. Now, if I add WixHub now here, and I go down, you will see that the highlights, you see that one is no longer highlighted. You have filled this one. It now starts from here. If we add here, it will also fill it again. Free this one, and it will place the thing another place. So those are the work of JavaScript. And then one other thing is you can be able to see the code that is responsible of this particular page. You can see the code that brought this page to life. So you can simply say Ctrl-O, and now this is the code that make this website available for the web. This is what the web is reading, not that page you are looking at. So this is what the web reads, and understand that this is, so all these things are the code that make up that particular home page, not all the pages on the website, just the home page. So, and inside this place now, we have link to resources that also connect to this page to make the page look lively, to make the page work. We have so many resources like this one. We have feed here, which is this one, another group of XML code. This one is no longer HTML code. So, but then this particular thing you are seeing here, they are HTML entity, they are HTML elements. You remember when I say something about HTML, which is the skeleton of our website? This is the skeleton you are looking at. This is the skeleton of this website. And this code here is the CSS. This particular code you are looking at here is CSS. CSS. So let me also show you another place we have our CSS. This is our CSS here. So this is our CSS that make up this website. After the program, you can, if you are front end or back end, you can be able to write your own program like this, and you display what you mean. Exactly. So all these are the resources that make up that website. Going down, 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 and down, down, and down, 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 down. So all these are and this one is JavaScript as well. This one is JavaScript. So those are all the code that make this page work. Not the whole website, just this page. So if you go to another page, another different code that make that page look the way they are. So that is how you build all the pages on your website. And after the front end parts, then come the back end, where the communication occurs from the front end and to the back end. From the database as well, the structure of your database. You think of a structure. What do I need? If you are building an e-commerce website, you can say, okay, I know an e-commerce website, I'm selling something, then I need products on the website. Okay, then you say, what are the structure of this product? The product need a price. The product need a name. The product need a rating. The product need a color, maybe a specification and all that, and description, title, etc. So you can say, okay, since I'm building it, then those particular structure must be in your database before you can actually build them. Those structure have to be in your, if you are building a product, you have the structure, you have a table in your database. What happens in database? You have table of information and column, and that information can now be a blueprint. Any other information you are creating that is related to that table will now get their prints from that particular table, and they create their own. Like our course now, we have students, and before you enroll, you add your name, you add your email, you add your phone number, you add your address, is working, your page, your everything, you add all of them, and then we save it on our database. Then we send you an email address with your name. So that email address now have your own name specifically for you, and same thing applies to every other person that register for the course, and those information are extracted from the database. So, and That's particularly no matter how many students we have, even 10,000, 1 million, those information are stored in a table. That table now is the blueprint to all the students. Then it's now tap from that table, then create a new student. You tap from that table and it creates another student. You tap from that table, it creates exactly the same table, but with different name, with different information and different data. So that is for your database structure. So let me take some question as well. Okay, you said if I'm the one that built the website. Of course, is my website. I'm the one that built it, both the front end and both the hosting as well, both everything. So I also do database management, database administration, all this hosting of the thing, cloud computing. So that's what we call DevOps. So not just that, including analysis as well. So many things to us. We stick to do. First of all, need to have one knowledge of something. You have, if it's front end or back, if it's full stack, you can go with full stack. Okay, but we split the course. I don't know. We are trying to know if we can join both the two courses together. What do you guys think? Should we join both front end and back end together? From you, what do you think? So you can be able to do full stack. I will now do it full stack for you guys. So you'll be able to build the website. But one other thing is this: we have 8 weeks, which is almost impossible for you to become a full stack developer. So, but you can actually try. Where is in this? You say it's possible. Well, it's actually possible. It's possible, though. Nothing is impossible. Even as a developer, you should always believe that nothing is impossible, because you can almost build anything you can think of. And one thing is, everybody can be able. It's very small for full stack, yes, but it can actually move you from, yes, coding is hard, but it's doable. So 8 weeks now, I can explain only API for 8 weeks. I can explain only database for 1 month. I can explain only Python for 1 year, and still you will not say you have mastered the whole of Python. Even Django now, you can spend 2 years in Django. So, but then there is a way you can grab knowledge from someone who have already mastered them. So they can actually give you a knowledge for some week, and then from those knowledge you can be able to be learning on your own until you improve more. Because even after the project, even if I have it for 6 months, which is the normal classes I used to have, they are 6 months class, 6 months training, and I have 3 months training for students coming from which hall. I have 3 months and 6 months training. So, but even those 6 months is not even enough to master full stack web development. But it will take you to a certain level, to the intermediate level, where you can also say, okay, from here I will find my way through. I will find my way around. And if you have any question, you can explore on your own. You can go back and ask question about that particular topic or that particular thing you are having difficulty in doing. Good and fine. And now, how many of you have VS Code installed? How many of you have VS Code installed? How many of you have system? You don't find. That is me. That is me. code editor we are going to be using for these developments. That is the code editor we are going to be using for this development. VS Code. So there's another one called Anaconda, PySpy. So, but those ones, since we are not doing only Python, we are doing Django. And one thing about the programming, I did not include only Python. So if I had included only Python, then we are doing purely backend. Then we can say, okay, we can say download VS Code, Visual Studio Code, VS Code, download it, search for it on Google. You will see the official link, download it and install it in your system. Edit, gifts. So, I included Django in the program. I included Django because Django, like I told you before, is Django, which your microphone. So, like I told you before, Django is a Python framework for web development. We have Ginger, another Python framework. We have Beautiful Soup, another Python framework. That Beautiful Soup, we use it for web scripting. Then we have Flask, another Python framework. Okay, we'll be taking it small. So, but I'm making references to you. You are not using all of them. So, but you have to know. Like you, as in Nigeria, we have Ghana, we have Niger, we have Cameroon, we have America, but you are in Nigeria. You are a Nigerian. So that is how we have Ginger, the framework, we have Beautiful Soup. Again, we have good, but the one competing with Django is actually Flask. So, but you are using Django. I have to know about Flask, but you are using Django. So if you are using a programming language, there are other programming languages. We have PHP and the rest of them, but you are using Python. So you need to have this knowledge. That's why I'm making a reference to them. So, but when we start the next class now, we start with our Python code. But we will not start with Python. So we start with front end. We start with front end first. We start with HTML. Maybe we spend 1 day in HTML. We spend 1 day again in CSS, or 2 days, because CSS is a little bit tricky. We spend 2 days in CSS, then we spend 2 days again in JavaScript, then we go to our backend. So then if we somehow said, okay, we want to combine the both of them, then I think you may not be able to combine the both of them because of the time frame is very small. Except I can be making videos and share those videos to you, or I will share the video I use for my students. I will share them to you. You can be watching those videos and then you ask questions. That is another alternative. Yeah, it is my website. Coding is understandable. Yes, very much understandable. You understand coding, you have to start from somewhere, from square one. Okay, this place are called the navigation. this place here. This place are called the navigation. Someone is asking me this. Yes, this is my website. This is called the navigation, and this is a search box. And this search action is triggered by JavaScript. You see, when you click on it, when you add something, it will show you search. If you remove it again, it will remove the hash. If you click on this one, it will close it up. That is the work of JavaScript. And if you click on it again, and if you click here, it will remove it again. So let me show you our websites again. Now let me show you our website, which is this one. Now this is our website. Another one. You see, this is our website here. The multi-life website. And you see this one. All right. So this is our website here. It's a multi-life Silver's website. So looking at this, you see this is the navigation. This is another search, and this is the sidebar. We have sidebar here. If you look at this one, it's quite for this one now. You can only see a sidebar when you are on smaller screen like this. So that is when your sidebar will appear. This is when the only time you will see sidebar from our own here is when you are on a smaller screen. So, but here in multi-life Silver website, we have sidebar here. So, and you can easily see your sidebar immediately. And this one here is the work of JavaScript. The work of JavaScript. This is the work of JavaScript. And this one, okay, if you refresh this page now, all this animation are from CSS. And then if you go down here, this one embedded from HTML. Okay, and you see if you hover over this now, you see it will somehow change the color interactively. So that is the work of CSS. And you see it will go like this, the work of CSS. And if you hover here, the color changes to white. If you hover here, the color changes to white. And if you hover like this, you see, so these are the work of CSS, cascading style sheet. And then we go down again to all these things are HTML and the whole website. Well, so all these things here, this one is the work of it's somehow going up and down and work. Going down, you see your testimonies. All of that are the work CSS. Going down, we have some content, we have so many things, and then we have every other thing there. All of these are the work of CSS. And this is our front end. This is the front end of our website. So now, more questions before we end the class today. Type in your question. So if you also do Ctrl here, you will see the source code that is running this particular website. And that is one good thing about a custom development like this one. Now you have full control over your website. It is not a WordPress website where people generate websites for you. That is why if you search for it on Google, it will always be in the first page of Google, because it is also SEO vibrant. No restriction, whatever. So because you have full control over it. There are so many things you will also learn, which including SEO as well and some other software, before you can post as a full stack web developer. It doesn't even end there. You will keep learning as long as you are alive. I don't even know it's 10:25. Wow. All right. Navigation bar. This is the navigation here. This is the navigation on this website now. This is our navigation here. Here. Don't worry about all this one. Once you start learning front end, from the code, you will understand what navigation is, and you can be seeing it working. All this one are just sample. I'm just showing the sample. So just get your VS Code installed if you haven't done that already. Then we can do a little bit of, so even for people taking backend with me, we will do 1 day in HTML, 1 day in CSS, 1 day in JavaScript. Because since we are developing for the web and we are using Django, Django is a Python framework for web development. We can make use of Django now if we did not include front end. It will be halfway. So make use of, we spend our first day in HTML, second day in CSS, and third day in JavaScript, then we go to backend. So if for any reason we decide to collapse the two courses together and make it full stack, then we can share the dates with them. I can do it half and half, and then front end we take maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and back end we take 4 weeks. But you will have a solid knowledge. You always go back and watch the video, and then if you have a question, you ask me. Maybe you send it to my personal email, or send it to the multi-life email. I don't know, but just send it to my own email if you have a question that you cannot type during the class session.
بدأ بشير هسه.
Machine learning is actually, you teach the machine will learn on their own. Once you give them a model or something you want them to work on, they will learn from there. They will be predicting and making mistakes, and they will learn from their mistake and improve over time. So if you see ChatGPT now, ChatGPT is making use of machine learning. ChatGPT is making use of. So if you see most of the questions people ask during the new version of ChatGPT, is storing those questions, so it will help him, it will help it improve. And now it's even better. It's more better now. The same thing with Grammarly. So you feed work on those data. People can ask an AI question now, and that AI will answer the question. And if the answer is wrong, you can say, okay, wrong. Sometimes they will place 2 buttons for you. That place we are looking for feedback most of the time is not only for human being to make use of that feedback, it's also for machine. Those coding, those machine in charge of that program, they also learn. When they ask you, is this question correct, or how do you rate this question or rate this answer? When you rate that answer, it will tell the machine if they are wrong or right, so they can improve themselves. They are learning it on their own now. No longer you going to code them again. You already coded it in such a way that they will be doing and learning as well. And as they are learning, they are improving as well. So they are trying to make it out like the way human beings are now. You know, people always, once you do something and you fail, the next time you do it again, you will not fail. Even if you fail, it will not be exactly the same way you do it in the first instance. So that is machine learning. You program a machine to do something and learn on their own. So then, someone said WhatsApp is better. Why? WhatsApp may be better until the message is not responded to. So then what other question? Okay, someone said if any free hosting, free domain hosting, free domain hosting. Well. There is, yes, there is a free hosting, not for domain, because you actually need to buy a domain name for your website. So, but there are still cheap domain that is less than $1. So maybe if you want to test your application, you let me know. I will send you a link to a website where you can buy cheap domain, maybe $1 or $2. You can get a domain name, but not .com. We have some good top level domain name, some generic top level domain name, which is the like of .com, .co, .org, .net, .ng, country code domain name. So those domain, you buy them. Some of them cost 10,000, and now dollar is high. So some of them cost 16,000. $10 can be up to 16, 17,000. Some of them cost $12, $13, $8 on promo, $4. So for domain name. Any other question? Because we are rounding up for the class. Any other question? All right. I think we don't have any question again. So I hope and I believe we enjoy today's class. So if you really enjoy the class, maybe you can say, okay, yes, you enjoy the class. So let's know if the class is as it should. It's all right. So now, don't worry. This is the first day of the class, and even okay. Don't worry. Let me send you a link of this. This is VS Code. This is VS Code. Visual Studio Code. So here you can download it. This is where you download the VS Code. So once you open the VS Code website, code.visualstudio.com. That is where. So this is the link to VS Code. The link I sent, download your VS Code if you haven't done that already. I think we'll post the video. The video is already on Zoom. So Zoom do record video and have it on the cloud. So maybe I will post it on YouTube and share the link on the group. Yes, if you don't have a laptop, you get one. Try as much as possible. Before you achieve anything, there is a level of sacrifice you have to do. There's a level of sacrifice you have to do. So even me, nobody gave me a laptop. Nobody. I exchanged the first laptop. I exchanged it with some value, and the person exchanged the laptop to me for that. That is how I get my first laptop. So you can actually, but even then, before I do that, I already told myself that yes, I have concluded that this, I love this scale and I explore it, and I know, okay, yes, I need this scale. After doing that, after convincing myself that I need this scale, I start looking, okay, how do I get this scale? I realized that you can't be a computer programmer without a laptop. Then I need a laptop. Who is going to give me a laptop? I should get a laptop for myself. If I really need this skill, if I mean that I need this skill, then I need a laptop. I get the laptop myself. It's not easy for anybody. It's not easy for anybody, including the receiver. It's not easy for them. So, but at least before you move to some extent, before you get to some, there are some sacrifice you need to. Sometimes sleep, you can sacrifice sleep. Part of the sacrifice. You can invest all the money you have into learning. Part of the sacrifice. You can even borrow money for it. Part of the sacrifice. But you must sacrifice something. You must sacrifice something. You can sacrifice your time. Those time you spend on TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, watching status, scrolling random videos, looking at people dancing on TikTok, you can sacrifice it. Part of the sacrifice. Limit how you call people, how you receive calls, so you can fit in your learning time. Part of the sacrifice. Those wonderful things that you think make you happy, but maybe they are not actually the thing that will make you happy after all. So you will limit them. Part of the sacrifice. Begging your parents to help you get a laptop, or your friends or your guardians. Part of the sacrifice. You know, people spend money in things that make me laugh. Sometimes people think spending the money in getting a skill, maybe or something like all this high income skill like front end, back end, and the rest, tech skill. Now, someone can easily invest 10 million knowingly or unknowingly into learning a particular course in the university, but they can't invest 100,000 in learning the tech skill. It's, I don't know, personal reason maybe. But you have to. Windows 7